In this step, we're going to run a job on our newly launched cluster, demoing an end-to-end encryption secure Hadoop provides. Here's the architecture as a refresher. We will take the data from our client and store it in the secure directory where our secure Hadoop appliance will encrypt it. That encrypted data is auto-synced with SoftLayer's object storage but is unreadable after leaving the client. From there, we will import our data into Hadoop and run a job against it, storing the output in an encrypted format where it's unreadable until we get it back to our client, ensuring that we have end-to-end encryption. Here are those steps again. Please pause the video if you need to read them further. This is object storage that we have, with 2 files already in it. If I choose one of these files, which is a text for War and Peace, the novel, I'm able to open and read the contents of that file. Nothing's encrypted. If I go back to my security compliance and I look in the My Workgroup container that we created earlier, I can see currently there are no files there. If I have a file that I want to add to this My Workgroup and I want that to be securely transmitted from my client to object storage, I just copy the file and place it in that location. For this example, I have a file in my private ebooks called thinkandgrowrich.txt. Let me copy that file. Now that the file's been copied, I can see that it's in that directory. If I go back and refresh object storage, I should be able to see the same file. After refreshing my workgroup and object storage, I now see that I have 2 additional files, which is my Think and Grow Rich file, which is split in 2 objects. If I try to open one of these to view the content, you can see that it's encrypted and unreadable. Now that I have the content here, I want to import it into my Hadoop cluster. I click on Transfer Data. Make sure the radio dial saying that I want to transfer from SoftLayer to object storage is selected, and then I enter my API information. After that information is entered, I select my data center, which in my case is Dallas 05. Notice that all the containers in object storage are automatically shown. I want to choose my work group. For the object storage path, I'll say give me everything, and for the HDFS directory, I'll say my work group. Then I'll choose to start the import. Now navigate to your IBM InfoSphere Big Insights to see the data. I'll refresh the directory, and now I see my work group. In my work group, I see the same files that I had in my object storage. If I click on warandpeace.txt, notice that the content is here and available to read the same way it was in SoftLayer's object storage. If I click on the Think and Grow Rich split, notice that it's encrypted. Now if I want to run a job against this encrypted data, I'll click on Applications. I'll use the word count application, which reads the text file and determines the frequency within certain words appear. For execution, I'll name it my test. For the input paths, I'll browse to my work group and choose that. And then for the output, I'll say /my work group /out. Whenever using an encrypted directory, you need to specify SDFS:/. Same thing with the input. That way Secure Hadoop tells it that this is data that's encrypted. Use the encryption keys to unlock the file. Now I'll click Run. Now that the test is successfully completed after 32 seconds, I should be able to see my results in my workgroup /out. Navigating back to Files and refreshing my folder structure, I should see a directory called out. If I look in the logs for out, They're showing up encrypted, and I cannot read the contents. To pull this data back to object storage, I'll come here, click on the transfer data. This time, choose the radio button that says to SoftLayer object storage and enter in my API credentials. Enter in the data center and select the container I want to write back to, which in this case is my work group, specifying the path that I'm going to pull the information from in my HDFS. After successful data transfer, close this window. Navigating back to my object storage and refreshing the page, I can see now in my work group I have an additional folder called out. I can see the same files from the IBM Infosphere Big Insights folder structure. Now it's time to pull that stuff back on premise. But first I want to verify that I'm still unable to read this file's content and it's still encrypted. Opening the file, I can see that the content is still unreadable. Going back to my virtual appliance, when I check the My Workgroup folder, the files are still not there. I need to run this command, spxcloud stubs 2, to pull in the data from the object storage in SoftLayer. After running the command, I can see that I pulled various results back. Navigating to the out directory, I should be able to see the files that I pulled back in. Notice the part-r-00000, where in object storage that's split between two chunks, it's now been combined to one. The output is now unencrypted, and I can get the output of the file, and it'll list all the words found in the book with the count next to the words. We now have successfully taken data from on-premise, encrypted it while it was stored in object storage, but also encrypted it while it's in our HDFS, ran an analytics job against it, stored its output in an encrypted format, migrated it back in object storage where it became unencrypted once we got it back on premise. I hope this secure Hadoop presentation has been helpful for you. If you have any additional questions, feel free to contact us or navigate to ibm.com/cloud.